Now, I want to bring in Liz Storer from GT Media and Justin Smith, Sky News contributor and columnist for the Herald Sun. Good to see both of you to have a bit of a Wednesday wrangle about the issues of the day. First up, I want to find out your thoughts on the lockdown. Justin, you're still living through it. Has Daniel Andrews just gone too far here with a preemptive and unnecessary lockdown?
I didn't mind the well, I hated the lockdown, to be frank, but I thought maybe enclosing Melbourne in the lockdown was all right. But when we went for the whole state, I thought it was a little crazy, and I'm really not sure why he did it. The feeling I get is that he just didn't want Melbourne people to get too ticked off. So he thought, well, look, if I do the entire state, then, you know, I'll get away with looking like an okay guy. I'm afraid I'm having a lot of trouble believing him. I want us to all sort of come through this crisis and stay mates, but the fact that he allowed the tennis, this is the big one for me, this is the sticker for me, Chris and Liz, is the fact that he allowed the tennis to go ahead for fear that we would lose it. When we've had people losing business, we've had people losing their jobs, and we had the bloody tennis. I mean, I'm still, and the other day, when he released that list of who was an essential worker and what could you do, right at the bottom of that list, in small right down the bottom, it said that if you're a professional sports person, you were essential. Well, you're not essential. You aren't. And it was a big mistake, and I think he's still going to pay for it.
Liz, we can see from what happened, same as Perth, same as Brisbane, this was a lockdown that never should have been called.
100%. You've got to wonder what on earth is going on. We're a year into this thing, Chris. It's 2021. The long-awaited gong has rung. We're in a new year. And our premiers have done nothing this year so far except for take turns shutting down our nation's largest cities over one case. First Queensland, then WA. Now we see the same thing in Victoria. And the idiocy, they keep quoting each other like, well, the snap lockdown worked in Queensland, so we're giving it a go here in WA. Why is no one quoting? Why is no one copy-pasting the one premier, the standout premier in this nation, Gladys Berejiklian, who has basically New South Wales, I'm lucky enough to be here at the moment, have been for many months now. It's pretty much life as usual here, and yet none of them, not one of them, will put down their pride long enough to go, hey, those guys have fared brilliantly. How about we not make complete fools of ourselves, throwing people into lockdown yet again? And here we have them carrying on like this, Chris, months after the World Health Organization itself, or otherwise known as Beijing's bitch, as I call it, came out and implored people across the world, governments across the world, no more lockdowns. The ramifications of lockdowns are far deadlier than this virus will ever be. And yet, a year in, that's all these premiers have in terms of defending their people from this thing, which, as we know, over 99% of the time is actually completely harmless, but we've run up a war-sized debt over it anyway.
Justin, this is what's so frustrating. We can see everything that's happened. We can see that Daniel Andrews overreacted massively last year. New South Wales continues to show the template of how to deal with these things. Yeah. Yet he still went with this draconian lockdown. Enormous damage.
I would say this: it is certainly not harmless. I wouldn't put it in the harmless category, and it can get out of hand. Unfortunately, I just don't trust Daniel Andrews with it. I mean, this is also a person that's been talking about the gold standard. We've heard that many times, and also, and I know a lot of people discuss. It is true. We've got 800 people that died during that second lockdown because of the bungled hotel quarantine. I think it's a matter of trust at the moment where we're seeing it sort of all fall on the heap for Victoria.